Hey there, commercial construction coffee talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction Renovation Magazine. Oh, I've got a little halo there, but that's okay. This is what the magazine used to look like when we were printing it in print version. October 2020. Eleanor Alvarez, CEO, Ganzorn Suites. We appreciate you being on the cover. This was a really nice looking issue. Let's see what the folio was. 144 pages. Nice looking book. Let's see where I was at. Oh, I was at the trophy house riding bikes with my kid, and that was fun. And I actually sold my house a year later, so actually building my empty nester house up on the lake as we speak. And but always nice to hold the magazine in my hands and looking what I was doing 4 years ago. It feels like yesterday that that picture was taken, but. Anyway, last issue we printed was August of 2021. We had White Castle with their biggest restaurant facility that they ever constructed, and haven't looked back since. Um, Had I think about 7 million people hit our website with interactions last month, 330,000 plus unique users, and it's been an amazing ride the last 6 to 8 months. SEO has been on fire, and can't wait to see where we're at the end of this month and where we end up at the end of the year. But for all you out there that have found us on the web, you're gold in my eyes. I really, really appreciate you. And for all you, sending us content and posting it and all that, it's been awesome. So really, really appreciate y'all. But it's TGIF today. What an amazing week. Felt like Monday morning was here. Now it's Friday, and just a beautiful day here in the ATL. A little breeze, and about low upper 80s, 90s, depending on where you're at, and ready to get relaxation, reset my mindset, relax, have fun, smile, positive thoughts, and then get ready for the last week of August, and that'll be the second month of Q3. We're gonna finish one more month, and then boom, it's the home stretch till the end of the year, and we close out 2024 and open 2025, and the election will be over. Thank God, no more political ads. And we'll know where we all stand, and we can't control any of that stuff anyway, so I don't even talk about it. But anyway, but I am looking forward to the holidays and all that good stuff, and it's all coming in. You got Labor Day coming up. But it's been a really hot, and the dog days of summer are still here. And but it's nice to see the sun. It's kind of a drier. I'm building my lake house, so I've made it rained for a couple weeks here. I couldn't do anything on my lot, and I was getting my foundation ready for concrete and the retaining walls, and I couldn't do anything. The last 2 weeks, it's been dry. It's amazing what I got done, and I'm ready to get my pad put in, and just talked to my lumber guy, and he's going to be delivering my sticks and frames at the end of next week. So by the end of September, weather permitting, come on, Mother Nature, work with me. Uh, we will get that house dry with the framing, the wrap, the roof, windows, doors, and then my wife's crew will come in, and we'll start cranking that house out. We're thinking like 4 or 5 months, and we're going to finish that thing. So anyway, it's been crazy, and got to put my construction hat back on later today to go up there and do a little site visit and see what they got done today. Hopefully they mark the box. My plumber and my electrician can come in, do their distances, what they want to put in, into the slab, and then pour some concrete next week and then get rolling. So just been an amazing, amazing week, but totally looking forward to the weekend. Happy TGIF once again. So I have a nice gentleman down in Southern Florida, and his name is Erick Vargas. He's the president of Followup CRM. Erick, say hello to our audience out there on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk.
Hey, audience. Hope you guys are doing well. Excited to be here and talk about follow up.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, at the, pretty much right now, everybody's trying to get their stores done, facilities done before Thanksgiving. It's that time of year, and but they're also looking at putting stuff into the pipeline for 2025, and just having database management and follow up. I don't care if you're a brand or if you're a contractor. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You have to have your act together, especially with all the different platforms that you can, look at to use. And Erick's publicist reached out to me, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have this person on so we can just talk about, database management and how you go about things and keep things nice and clean and tidy. So Eric, the way we're going to do this is we're going to do your interview in three parts. You'll tell us your story, where you grew up, where you went to school, and how you ended up where you are today. Then we'll talk about lessons learned over the last 3 to 4 years, the roller coaster we've all been on, and then you'll leave one positive thought or phrase, your contact info, and then we'll close it out. So with that said, the floor is yours. Tell us your story.
My story. So I grew up in South Florida. I have a fun fact, two fun facts about me. One is not so fun. My birthday is actually on 9/11, which is kind of funny. Uh, Not so funny, but that's one interesting thing about me. And then my real fun fact is one day my car was stolen from my house, and I called the cops. They said, sorry, we can't really do much. And so that kind of ticked me off a little bit. And so what I did is I found the criminal myself, um, and I did my own patrol. I went to my neighbor and I'm like, man, can you believe they stole my car? And he's like, you know what? You need to check out, this neighborhood about 15 minutes away. And so I went down there and I patrolled the area. I was I was the cop, and I found my car. I found the thief. We got him arrested, all that kind of stuff. And I got a mug that said the volunteer detective. So two little fun facts about me in crazy South Florida. It's also hot here. Thankfully, no hurricanes just yet, but we have about 2 months left of hurricane season. But grew up down here in South Florida. I went to school at Liberty University.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
small Christian school. You know Liberty?
Yep, totally know about it for sure. Actually,
Yeah.
my brother-in-law went to Liberty, so very familiar with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Small Christian school in Lynchburg, Virginia, out in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Gorgeous area. Went there for 3 years. Couldn't take the cold because I'm South Florida native, and moved back down and saw the sunshine again. I studied business entrepreneurship, and my wife up there. Now we're married down here with one kid, and kind of how Follow Up started back in the day is after school, I worked at a large technology company called Citrix. If you remember GoToMeeting, that
Hmm.
was their product. So I did sales at Citrix, selling their products, and I was on the sales team. And they used a software to track their opportunities and leads in their pipeline called Salesforce, the number one CRM in the world. And it's a great system. And I helped them kind of expand their usage of Salesforce at Citrix. So I helped them implement a couple of different features that Salesforce offered, alongside of selling the Citrix product. And after a few years getting my feet wet after school, I met my co-founder, Greg Wallach, who actually just sold his company for $100 million, a commercial roofing company, one of the largest here in South Florida. And they're called Best Roofing. And so, back in the day, we met just through a mutual local connections down here in South Florida. And he's like, I built this software for my company and I want to take it to market. And so me and him teamed up, and we got to learn about Follow Up. And the reason why he initially designed Follow Up was he heard this one statistic that 40% of salespeople never follow up with an opportunity, ever. And they make one contact and then they stop. But then the second statistic that goes with that is that 80% of sales are made on the fifth to 12th follow up.
Oh, sure. Oh,
And
yeah.
so the name of the game is just staying in the follow up game. And, in the commercial world, some opportunities can close in 30 days for sure. But most opportunities, the sales cycle is 3, 6, 18 months. And you have to follow up with these opportunities. So for the past 7 years, I've been running Followup CRM, and Greg has been a great partner in just being the I call him the guinea pig, right? Because we would release new features, we would release them to Best Roofing, they would give us feedback, and we would iterate on how to design the system so that we can serve any construction company. And so now we have over 3,000 users all over the country. So that's the background of Followup CRM.
Oh, congratulations. Listen, I've been an entrepreneur since 2001 when I left Nielsen and went out and did my own gig. And uh, the the as a salesperson, I'm business to BD person. You never take no as the first no you get. It's always the third, fourth, fifth, or sixth one. But you have to maintain yourself to get there. And no means, well, you didn't tell them the right way to tell them that they really need this. And I'm a statistics guy, so shooting percentage on the athletic field, you can translate that to business any day of the week. 10 people you talk to, two are just buyers. They're always going to buy. Two are never going to buy. You
Right.
give it to them free and give them $1 million. They're still not going to take it. The other six, that's where your margins are made. If you can knock off two, you're
That's
doing
right.
great. If you can knock off three and hit 50 or four, you're doing great. If you go 6 out of 6, which rarely happens, I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, but you're crushing it. So it's a numbers game. And you're going to get those yeses. They might come in and here's one. They come in clumps, and then you'll get a bunch of no's. I'm all about getting no's. I'd rather get as many no's because I know the yeses are coming. And uh,
Right.
just like myself, I send a lot of emails. I do cold email campaigns. We do stuff on social media, but I always like to make at least 10 calls a day and do a couple Zoom calls and just have conversations. Your phone is your best tool that you can have. It's just one of those things. Get personal emails, get their cell phone. They're golden, and it's just amazing thing. But it's a numbers game, but the more tidy you have your data in a way that
Right.
you know what you said before, so you don't duplicate it, and it really doesn't matter. Listen, if you're running a restaurant, you have to do the same thing. You want people to come in, you want to turn tables, you want to get those clients to be aware of yourself. You can put notes in there. Same thing if you're selling roofing products or flooring or general contracting services. There are a bunch of your competitors are all doing the same thing. How are you going to separate yourself? But if you have a timeline and a history and you can look at it, you might find that diamond in the rough of what you have to say to get that person to jump your way. Am I correct on that assumption?
You're totally right. And the interesting thing about the commercial construction industry is that the bar is so low. And most of our customers that sign up to Followup, they're coming from paper or they're coming from spreadsheets. And here's what that means: that your competitors are not following up with their opportunities. They're not developing relationships with their prospects. I remember I had a leak at my house last hurricane season, and I wanted to see and do an experiment. So I called 4 roofers off of Google, and I had 4 quotes come to my house. And I'm like, I want to see who's going to follow up with me, right? Not one of them followed up with me. And so guess what I did? I did not make a purchase because no one followed up with me, even though I had an active leak in my roof. All because the reason why is because if they don't follow up with me, they don't want my business, right? They don't care enough to be professional enough to just say, hey, just wanted to check in to see, did you want to patch that leak, right? So of course I wanted to patch the leak, right? I can't have an active leak in my house with a little baby, but it was about the professionalism that if they're not going to be professional in the sales process, they're not going to be professional in the construction process, right? So I call sales like it's dating, right? How is this going in the dating relationship? And it doesn't get better in the marriage, right? It's the same. So
Yeah.
you date if you're dating, you're on your best behavior. And if you can't follow up, then I don't trust you to do the actual job well. So the bar is so low that if you're using a system or a database just to follow up once or twice, you are going to crush your competitors.
Yeah. I've walked trade shows. I used to walk about 30 or 40 construction shows, lighting, concrete, flooring. I mean, you named it. I was walking them all. But I was media. I had my press credentials. I'd go on the floor, then concrete jungle, go up and down the aisles, say hello to people that I knew and get my badge scanned. And I would tell people, look, I'm an editor, a publisher. Don't send me a catalog. Don't, I'm looking for new products. Send me a press release, send me a picture of high res and I'll post it and I won't pound on you if I see something that maybe, we might have an issue or a report that we're doing. I'll make sure you get the link and so forth. But I knew after I got my badge scanned, 200 times in that day that I might have been at that event, I was going to get maybe 30%, 40% would send me stuff, but the other ones wouldn't. And then I would follow up because, like, let's say, like I do a roofing report. You were talking about roofing. So I do my roofing report. I'm a sponsor of the roofing show every year. I go there right before so I can make sure I have the right contacts. I send them all the link. It's no charge to be listed, and people would not would not send their info in, and I'm just like, You're nuts, you're crazy," because there's a roof on every building that a retail or restaurant, a hotel, a federal hospital, cat I can go down the list, or there's an engineer and architect that's going to be specing that, and if you don't send me something, I can't look at it, and I'm inviting you to help you with your marketing. And I've just seen a really downturn over the last couple of years of just lack of what's the word? Listen, I want to meet and talk to as many people as I can. And the competition is fierce depending on like roofing industry. Look, there's millions of contractors out there across the country that you can choose from. Um, Talking about roofing, I'm building my empty nester house. I'm not going to mention the name of the firm, but these guys I saw them at the roofing show, had a long talk with the engineer at the booth, and he, gave me his card. So I found the local installer. I reached out, I sent him my plans, and and these had the sensors in there, so I didn't have to put the big solar panels on top because my HOA is not going to allow them to be in the in our subdivision. And there's only about 50 homes up there up on the lake. Anyway, these had the sensors in there, so I didn't have to have the solar panels in there. And it came with the energy grabbing gig that I can store energy like a generator in case we lose power. So anyway, I sent him the plans and he didn't follow up. So I sent him another email. I had another conversation. I said, look, do your survey, see if I'm in the right, whatever. If the house is too big, I'm not worried about as long as I get the tax credit, I'm psyched. And he never followed up with me. So now I've just gone to another metal roofer and I said, look, just send me the price. It's in my budget. I got to pay for it anyway.
Right.
Maybe it's something we can do a little bartering, knock the price down, whatever, but I still have to purchase it. So send me the quote and
Right.
tell me what it is. He didn't send it to me. And I was like,
You need a
why?
roof.
I need a roof. I told him, I said, look, I'm in, I walked the show for a reason. My wife said, hey, look for the roof, get, shingles, metal. So we want a metal roof on this house and insulation, roof vents. I mean, all the stuff that I needed, gutters. And so I had a whole list of things that I had to go and get. But then, I send plans and then people don't come back to you. And I'm like, oh my God. I've got the money. I want to purchase it, but this is a lay down sale. This is like a hanging fruit hanging there, and you don't follow up. Shame on you, you know.
Right.
So I'm not going to mention
I got
the.
to No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, see, I'm not going to mention the company, but it's a big time. It's a big time name, and I know the president. If he knew this was happening, he'd be very disappointed. Because they don't. It's not like he had. It's a very specialized product, and not everybody. He's like the only one who has it out there in the marketplace. But I know darn well that installer locally, he needs to find someone else because he just lost. If I'm one person, how many other people does he do that to? And if you're too busy to follow up, then hire some people because
That's right.
you're just leaving money on the table. And and listen, I'm media. You don't think, I'm doing videos every day up on the lot. I have put a residential column in my magazine starting this month now that the real building is going to happen. And I'm going to run it all the way through there. And most of the people that come to our site where, they're in construction, they probably have their own home, they get roof leaks just like you do or whatever. You could probably pick up extra business. All you had to do was, send me a quote. If we did something, I could actually be a real nice ally to you. But he didn't follow up. And I was like, that's just crazy. But I get it. People are
It's crazy.
busy and all that, but when you're in business, follow up is just key. And like I said, getting no's. It's not the first no. I get it, but you always want to follow up. Put a little take, on your calendar. Hey, I'm gonna ping this guy in a couple of weeks. Or I always don't like to look anxious on follow up. I still believe in
Right.
snail mail, to believe it or not, even in the digital age, because
Totally.
I used to get a ton of email mail in my post office box. I just closed my USPS box because I don't get any mail down anymore. It's not worth it, and I'll just get my whatever I get there. But if you get a piece of mail, most people are going to look at it and open it. And I like handwritten notes. It's a nice way to break the ice. You put your card. Hey, I think I can shave a few percentage points. Here's my card. I'd love to do a Zoom or have a phone call with you. If you're in Atlanta, I'll buy a cup of coffee. Let's connect. And no high pressure here. And um, and it's a crazy thing. Some people like doing business email. Some people like doing it on the phone. Some people still like doing it in person. But that interaction and that follow up is just so key. And the ones that don't do it, uh, you know, and 80% of the salespeople are going after the low hanging fruit. The people that make the big bucks, the other 20%, those are the ones that are doing the follow up. Am I right?
Totally right. Yeah, I got a story for you here in Miami. The Trump building in Doral with the famous golf course. Um, it was nine. It was 2019, and they needed a new roof, so they went to Best Roofing. They bid the project, and they bid the project for from I think it was like seven other roofers, and it was a $4 million roof. Best Roofing was the highest bidder on the job. And it took them 3 years before they made a decision on who they were going to award the job to. And so 3 years later, they awarded to Best Roofing. And so the owner, he goes up to the property manager and he says, I got a question. We were the highest bidder. Why did you give it to us? And he said, well, yeah, you were the highest bidder, but only about like 5 to 7% higher. But you were the only one that followed up every quarter for 3 years. He said, after the first year, everybody followed up with us the first year. But the second year, half dropped off. And the third year, Best Roofing was the only one that followed up. And so the reason why they won the job is because they stayed in the game. And follow up can automate that for you. You just schedule an automatic follow up to, hey, checking in, wanted to see how this project was going. And it's an automatic email that goes out. It's very easy. But that's how you stay in the game. It's just being diligent with the follow up, and business will come to you.
Yeah. Talking about the Doral, my grandparents, we had a place in on the Indian River and in Miami Beach. And my grandmother lives up in Pompano, or they still have the condo up there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
very familiar, and Power Line Road. Uh, anyway, the when Trump bought the Doral to redo it, I had an issue. It was the end of 2015, before he declared his presidency, when everybody loved him. And you know, and that's politics for you, But anyway, so I reached out, and I had the VP of construction. His name was Jack O'Connell, and he was on my mailing list. And we reached out to Jack. I said, "Look, Jack, we're looking for hotel, retail, shopping, hybrid. We, we would love to, have your firm on the cover." So he goes, "Well, let me run up the pipe, the marketing department, PR, and we'll see what's going on." So he came back to me and goes, "Hey, we just bought the Doral, and we're doing a renovation, and we want to put Eric in front of the big blue monster." And so I had Eric, on that December 15 cover. And uh, but it was one of those things, just reaching out because I had saw Jack a couple months back at our New York event that we always used to do in September, a cocktail party where we take pictures, local subscribers and stuff. And I saw Jack and I had him and I followed up. And then it was one of those things when I was thinking, oh, what, let me reach out to Jack. And so that's how that stuff happens. And it's all about, communication. And it was funny because after Eric had his baby, uh, I sent them I always send a baby gift. I don't do it in the beginning. I do it like 6 or 7 months later, because everybody sends, first, 1 to 3 month outfits. But then when they're 6 or 7 months old, they don't have any outfits. Everybody sent all the baby outfits, that you go through them like water. So because
Right.
they grow, every day they grow. And so I always send them out later. Anyway, a couple months after we sent it, Laura had sent me a note and she said, "Hey, David, thanks for the note and the gift for, Luke. He'll look great. And by the way, we have Eric's got your board in his office. It's on the wall. We loved working with you and, blah, blah, blah." So it was just one of those things, I always write thank you notes. Sometimes I'll do them digitally with email. Like I said, I still like putting them, even to my mother, she sends me a birthday, hey, mom, thanks for the little, $100 or whatever it was. And it's just a nice touch in my opinion. It separates you because not many people do that stuff these days. I'm just old school. But I have new school in my head because I took digital classes for the last year and a half, launched my agency, and uh, but I still like doing that kind of stuff. But follow up, I don't care what you're doing. If you're working on a project, if you're working on an RFP for an advertiser, whatever it might be, it's just crucial that you get things done. You put your notes in your database. So, and like you said, staying in contact. Sometimes I have to, I have this one person. They're a big engineer and big arch. I do these big reports. I know the big boys normally will tell me no. They don't need my little magazine. They do billions of dollars of business. So this one lady, she always tells me no every year. Thanks for sending me your note, but I'm going to pass on your advertising. So this year I just laughed at her. I said, "Hey, I'm sending you this note. I know you're going to tell me no, but I'm going to come back later and still come after you. So I have to do it because I'm a salesperson. I have to get the no. It's a numbers game." And she laughed and she goes, "You know what? I'll think about it." I was like, "That's all I wanted you to do." It still wasn't a sale, but now I've got that precedence where I can now I know I can kind of have some fun with this person, even though she's given me no's for like 10 years, you know, and but I would love to have her in there. Now I have this kind of, well, she opened the door, peeked out, she's looking. Maybe I have to figure out something cool to do, or maybe add a little more value, whatever it might be, to my RFP to have her go, "You know what, I'm going to do this thing." And I always tell people, look, if you give me a chance to prove myself, I will, and then some. All I'm asking for is an opportunity. And so it's really cool. What was your major when you went to Liberty? Not to go back to school.
um, yeah, business entrepreneurship. So
Business
startup life.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh what's the Liberty? What's their mascot? What are they? The
The
Flames?
flames.
The
Yeah,
Flames.
the
Yeah, that's
flames.
what it
Yep,
is. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. So no,
Yeah.
you know, uh you got Liberty and what the heck is the other school? The other university that's Christian, conservative. Those schools are awesome because like I went to University of Denver, all right? Very, very liberal
Yeah.
school. Big hotel management, that's what they're known for. I went there to play hockey and lacrosse. That's what I did. So, but I was an econ political science major. And everything that I learned there, it was cool. I can apply it. I come from a construction family, so I have that in me. I have my other side was in retail, and then my mom got remarried, and he was in jewelry. So I've seen so much different stuff, but I've taken little bits and pieces and kind of molded it. But they all had to sell something. One was selling furniture, one was selling demolition, the other one was selling jewelry. It doesn't matter what you're selling. You just have to make sure that your database is up to date and clean and know what's on the cutting edge of how you want to present stuff. And especially with AI right now, you use it as a tool, apply it to your CRM, and and you can write probably better letters, maybe get some things that you didn't know that you could use. But uh, it's an awesome tool. And in construction, there are still contractors out there that don't have smartphones. They're still using slide rules, and technology's at warp speed right now. So if you don't get with the program, you might have made it this far. I just talked to a guy the other day that didn't have a website. 54 years in business. All right, made a ton of money, but he has no footprint on the most. So
Wow.
we're going to build him a landing page, and we're going to do a little blog and do some stuff. And he's trying to scale his business probably to sell it. But when he told me he had no website, he just used LinkedIn, and LinkedIn wasn't around 54 years ago. So here was a guy that's old school doing it, but he still got it done, you know? And it's amazing when you hear these. They're not even horror stories. They're nice stories to hear, but now that he sees what he can do, he's like, oh God, I wish I would have done this, 10 years ago or whatever, because I'd be that much. But I said, there's no better time than the present to do something. You just have to take
Right.
action. Don't do it yesterday. You can't do it tomorrow because it hasn't gotten here yet. Do it today. Even if you know what you're doing, make mistakes because you're going to learn, right?
Yep. Yep. First, best time to plant a tree was a decade ago. Second best time is right now. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So talk about over the last 3 or 4 years, we've all been on this roller coaster and we're out of the tunnel. There's still some speed bumps and potholes that, little obstacles that we have to go through. You got inflation, all the other stuff which you can't control. You just got to put your blinders on and move forward. But talk about how, what you saw, what people were going through and how they weathered the storm and how maybe Follow-Up CRM, kind of help them, navigate those rough waters into now what we're, kind of in the channel, between the ocean
Yeah.
and the bay.
Our customers really utilize the system to, this is the term that they constantly talk to me about. They made their revenue predictable. And the way they did that is pipeline management. Basically, like I said before, some people are going to make a decision for your construction product or service this month. Some are going to make a decision in 6 months. But if you're managing your pipeline, you can know what your revenue is going to look like in 3 months, in 6 months, in 12 months, if you're managing your pipeline correctly, right? If you're doing the right marketing and advertising activities to fill in the top of the funnel and then manage that in the database. And so a lot of our customers, they said, yeah, the roller coaster ride of 2020 was crazy, but Follow-Up gave them so much security knowing what the future was going to look like and the mouths that they had to feed at their company. They weren't worried whether or not they were going to close opportunities because they had them in their pipeline. They had them under control. So, and that's our motto, is to bid less and win more. Because you have all your data in the database, it helps you shoot the shots that you need to shoot and hit the targets rather than just, we call it, spray, bid and beg, or say and spray, right? You just throw bids out there and hope stuff comes back at you, right? Not with Follow-Up. You're bidding with accuracy and you're bidding with precision so that you can win the opportunities that you want to chase down.
Yeah, absolutely. The a lot of people that I've spoken to over the last 3 or 4 years, they all had probably some of the most amazing years, even though they made a positive out of a negative. And the people that could turn on a dime or do the back door, using athletic terms and cut. The bottom line is that they were able to weather the storm, but they learned so much about their company, their people, and
That's right.
that they were going to move forward. The ones that didn't, uh, you know, they're probably still they're in a catch-up game, at this point, in my opinion. But so many people say, I could have taken on more business, but I needed more project managers, superintendents, I needed labor and help. That was the biggest, hurdle in construction. And that's a major issue today is, getting people back into, we need tech, HVAC, construction management, welders, like concrete guy. I mean, anybody that
Yeah.
works with their hands, we need that skilled labor. And that's the biggest, hurdle in my opinion. But so many people said, man, we had great years and I just didn't want to bite more of the apple that I could chew. but looking forward, I'm looking to scale, and you can't build a hotel or a big shopping center or renovate something, in a week. So a lot of those projects, like you said, they're going on and going on, and it's being in the right place at the right time. And you never know when that some person is going to say, you know what, David, you pitched me all these years, and all of a sudden I'll get a an email and say, hey, you know what, we want to jump in this thing. It just took us a while. I really appreciate your patience, and you did your follow up accordingly. That's awesome. Because I know it's a numbers game. So, but when that stuff happens, those are great stories. And you probably hear from all your clients, oh my God, man, without your system or without any type of platform that can do that, that it makes your job that much tougher, because you can't remember everything. But if you look at, it's in there. If you have the right platform, and it gives you everything that you said, you don't have to, you can figure out something else that you need to do. And
That's right.
yeah, absolutely. What do you see, as far, listen, you're in a very competitive area, CRM. What do you see, coming down the pike as we finish out, 2024, and then moving into 2025, something new or cool that you see happening, within the industry?
Yeah, it's all about AI, right? AI, and about half the demos that I go on, we're getting asked about AI. And what I would say is I'm going to say something a little bit contrary. Don't worry about it, right? Um, most if you're on paper jumping into AI, if you're on spreadsheets jumping and talking about AI, it's almost like pointless, right? It's like you don't need a rocket ship when you're not going to Mars yet, right? So if you're trying to get your company to the next level, just go from paper to digital, and then we could talk about AI, right? So that's where the industry is at. So don't, if it's going to take over the world, let it take over the world, and it is what it is, right? So we'll have bigger problems, but we are incorporating AI into our CRM, and we're super excited to release that next quarter. And what it's going to do, it's going to help our sales and business development people and users do the research before they're having like their sales calls and meetings. So, for example, let's say you get a new opportunity coming in, it's going to do a research prompt to say, okay, for example, Best Roofing. Best Roofing does this much in revenue. This is their website. This is the owner. This is the CEO, VP of sales, and it's going to give you all that information like that, so that when you do have that phone call, when you do have that email and reach out to them, you're informed about the company. So it'll save you that 20 minutes of research you do before the sales call. So we're optimizing their time that way. So AI is just the tool in the tool belt. But at the end of the day, in the construction industry, it's all about relationships, and AI is just going to enhance that in our world.
Yeah, listen, the AI's out of the tube. It's not going back. We can't put it back in there. Just from a content, because that's what I am now. I'm a content creator that I still write my own publisher's columns, but I'll go into AI. Listen, when we post, we make sure that the titles are AI, they got the right font. It just makes things so much easier where you're if you had a title that was too long before AI, you had to, be a really good editor and figure out how you're going to do it with Google's guidelines, with how many fonts you're allowed in there and this and stuff for your SEO. But uh, AI is just an amazing tool. And you just have to keep the reins on it. But it definitely can help you, but you still have to use this. And I mean, I still write my own I give them to my editor. He redlines them. He might use some AI in there, but we use it all day. But from a content perspective, AI can only do so much. I can look at content and I know it's AI generated, because if you don't edit AI, it just won't look like me. Like I just posted my
Right.
TG. I do a video every Friday, TGIF Friday. That's what I have fun on Friday. It's a wind down day. And I'll find something. I'll put a little 30, 40 second video, and I'll write a little copy on LinkedIn, and then I'll use the AI, the tool there, and it'll regenerate it, and then I'll go through it because if people don't, it'll put words in there that are not David Corson. It's like, oh man, that's not him. But I'll change it a little, but it just sometimes it doesn't make it. Sometimes I'll just use mine. I like mine, but sometimes, so it's a tool, but it's a very,
Right.
very explosive tool if it's used in the right manner. And so many companies are implementing it that, but we use it, and I was hesitant at first, but you just have to, like any technology is, it's a very scary thing for a lot of people. And all I tell is, look, face your fear, full forward, make mistakes, and you're going to see that this can help you. And that's the biggest problem with people that, like in construction, like you said, they're behind the curve. Some people don't have websites, some people don't have smartphones, and you could have everything at the palm of your hand and make things streamlined. And after it's all set up and done and it kind of works itself, it's a blessing in disguise. Why didn't I do this sooner? And I'm sure you hear that all
Right.
too, right?
All the time. All the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so if you're out there in commercial construction coffee talk, and I'm sure you've seen all the platforms that are out there and the new ones that are going to come on, competition, breeds, new firms and so forth. And if you were thinking, if you're still in that old school mentality, or you're using a platform that maybe you don't like and you want to look at something else, and they want to reach out to Eric, how would someone reach out to you to bounce some questions off you, from a marketing, business development, maintaining that gig?
Yeah. So three ways you can reach out to me. You can just go to our website, followupcrm.com. You can email me directly, evargas at followupcrm.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Erick Vargas, and you'll see, my picture. That's probably the easiest way.
All right. So there you go. Listen, if you're looking for stuff, and looking for a CRM or a new platform to help, maybe you're, retweaking your business development or Salesforce within your company, or maybe people are remote and you want to know what they're doing, and there's all different reasons that you want to go, but give Eric a call. He's an entrepreneur, and is working with a person that's in construction. We're all in construction, a big roofing company, and he had the software, and boom, boom, here he is, an entrepreneur sitting here today. And uh, you, you never know where the next answer is going to come from if you don't ask. So there's his contact info. If anybody wants to reach me, you can get me at davidc@ccr-mag.com. And it's like playing the lottery. I know you don't, I say it all the time, but if you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. If you don't send me something, I can't look at it. Eric's publicist sent me an email. Hey, blah, blah, blah. I have this person. And look, I have an agency. I have my own lead service. I use the platform. Eric's, almost like a competitor, but it's okay. I'm all about putting people, options out there for you. And I wanted to find out about what his platform was as well, because I have no idea. Maybe I might, want to look at it. Listen, I don't know everything. I learn something new every day, and we're all in this together. So I have no problem with it. And it is really cool to see people that went to school, didn't even think about what they were going to do, and here you are in you're your database person, right? I mean, that's what you are.
That, yeah, that's right.
So uh reach out. You got three ways to get them. And like I said, with me, you can get me by email. And listen, we post all day long. So you can send me, it could be a charity golf tournament. It could be a new product or service you should launch, and it could be an anniversary. And one of the things that I found out was, in 2020, when everything went kaput, people realized that there's more to do than just work. You have a life. So I also post stuff, hey, how to buy the right insurance, what are the right tires for your car, anything new, cool for your home or whatever. I put all, look, we're basically construction up there, facility, real estate, maintenance, but I put some other stuff up there as well. Bitcoin, crypto. I mean, there's just so much stuff and you never know what you might find out. Let us judge the book by its cover. Just like Eric's, they sent those press releases out to X amount of people. I just happened to look at it and reply to her, and I said, yeah, I'd love to talk about this because I know people right now, they're getting into, I just had my first media kit. Hey, where's your editorial calendar? We're putting stuff together. We're looking at next year. And historically that went a little after Labor Day weekend. I would get in the, in the fall, and that's when but here a person's looking at it. So, uh, I'm all about making contact and getting whatever I can help people out there because, business development is key. If you're not feeding your firm good leads, it's like I treat my company like a pet. I want to feed it every day. All right. And if you don't feed your company with good assets and tools like Followup CRM, it can make your business that much more healthier down the road. So, uh, Eric, if there was one positive thought or phrase that you'd like to leave with our listeners as we close out, what would it be as we end? We're going into the weekend, but basically the last couple of months of 2024 and going into 2025, what would it be?
Yeah. So one of the catchphrases that I have, or you can kind of think about it like a proverb almost, is that if you just do the right thing every time, then the right things will start to happen, right? So that's what I just tell my team is just like treat the customer right, do the right thing every time. And maybe one time the customer might do the wrong thing, and that's okay. But if you continue to do the right thing, the right things will happen over the long run. So it gives you that perspective to continue to put that positivity out there.
Awesome, awesome. My New Year's resolution this year was to run about 5 or 6 miles a day, and I was going to run 1,686 miles, I think it was. It was from Atlanta to Denver if I ran 5 or 6. So I did my 6 months
Wow.
assessment at the end of June, and I had run 1,001 miles. So I went over my gig,
Wow.
and but every day I do a cool off up at the pickleball courts because my wife doesn't let me come in sweating. And so I do a little positive thought, and yesterday I did one that said, no challenge, no change. Okay. So for all you out there that are scared of technology, but you know that you need to do it, all right. If you don't challenge yourself to learn something new, you're not going to be able to change. And you can't look back because the scoreboard is set in stone. It's got W and L's on it, and you can't change it. Don't look back there. Look forward. So if you're thinking about doing anything or looking at a CRM or a new vendor for your stable, for your construction projects or whatever you might be doing in there, business, athletics, personal, whatever. The bottom line is if you don't challenge yourself, you're not going to have that change. So make that happen and take the action. So a couple things before we close out. Number one, if you're on a construction site, we want you to be safe. Once you get home, be able to have dinner with your wife, your spouse, your partner, your pets, your family, your kids. Have some fun, get some REM sleep, and be able to do it up the following day. Number two, it's still very hot out there, and even during the winter, we want you don't think it's hot. If you get dehydrated, that's when mistakes happen. That's when you get hurt. And if you're on the athletic field, that's when you get headaches and you make that wrong pass. So make sure you're putting the electrolytes in your waters. Keep your body liquefied. Drink as much liquid as you can, water, electrolytes, whatever you want to do. Some of the drinks, but make sure you stay liquefied. You're going to feel better. You're going to sleep better, and you're going to get up and ready to get her done the following day. Last but not least, we want you to hit the like button. We want to get the algorithms out there so people out there on the web can find this episode and find out what Eric has to say. And who knows, maybe you're a Liberty alum and you can talk about the Flames. So you never know. So Eric, pleasure meeting you. And if I get down to, I'm coming down to Orlando on Monday I got a reception in Orlando for with the Retail Contractors Association. But if I come down to Florida, I'd love to hook up with you, and
Yeah. Yeah.
check it
We'll
out.
get some coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. So say goodbye from South Florida.
See you guys.
All right, I'm going to sign off from Sugar Hill, about 25 miles north of downtown Atlanta, up by Lake Lanier at the Beaufort Dam. And everybody, enjoy TGIF. Have a great weekend. One more week. You got Labor Day, another long weekend ahead, and then buckle down through September, October, November, and then the holidays, and then this year's over, and then 2025 is going to be here before you know it. So with that said, uh, Have a great weekend, and we will see you next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Eric, thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for being a guest. All right.
Thank you so much, David. Appreciate it.
All right. Cheers, everybody. We'll catch you next time. See ya.